Welcome to Sailing Saoirse. I'm Tegan. My parents sold our house, sold their business, and bought a 38-foot Island Spirit catamaran with the goal to travel the world. Only problem is, it needed a complete refit. After 3 years, we are finally ready to set sail. This is Colbin, my husband, Karen, my mum, Denver, my brother, and Robin, my dad. Together we make up Sailing Saoirse. Welcome back to Sailing Saoirse. We are still in Brazil, and still in Cabedelo. Our last video we spoke about how we were going to be heading up the north coast of Brazil, and we were probably meant to leave about 3 weeks ago, and it just never ended up happening. We were going to be leaving with 2 other boats, and the night before we were meant to be leaving, our chart plotter started going on the blink and the screen started fading. We thought that with our iPad we could pick up navionics, but that also didn't want to play the part, so that broke. Well, it's not broken, it just, I think the software is outdated and it doesn't want to update. And
that's the home screen, very green. When you go into the charts, earlier we could see all the charts. Now you've actually got to do that and it appears, but as soon as you take your finger off, it's gone. And if you look at the detail on there, it's very, you can't even read those names.
And then we also were able to mirror the Raymarine chart plotter onto the TV inside the saloon. But when the chart plotter started acting up, we had to get behind the TV to see if it was any of the wiring or something to do with that, and the TV took a turn for the worse. So that wasn't an option either. So we decided that we would leave a day later. We'd head to the supermarket here, buy a Samsung tablet, and then download our navionics charts on there and be able to navigate through the tablet. So we rushed off, did that, and that evening my parents started getting really sick. So we thought, okay, let's wait it out a day, see how this goes. Because we, obviously with COVID and being in Brazil, the numbers are high here. So we just wanted to be careful, especially with my dad being older. We wanted to just make sure that it wasn't going to turn into anything hectic. And it just got worse and worse and worse. We ended up postponing the trip for about 4 or 5 days, and within that we missed our weather window, and it just seems that Brazil has not wanted us to leave since then, because there just have been no weather windows and we have been stuck here. This is Brazil's windy time and rainy season, so it has made it a bit more difficult. We could head out, but the wind is not favorable. The waves are huge. The swell is not going in the right directions at the moment, so it will just make for a really uncomfortable trip, which we might as well just wait it out till there is a more favorable window. It's just really, really frustrating. It just feels like whenever something's starting to go right, it goes wrong. But we will carry on. We were also informed that a few days prior to everyone getting sick, we had a braai or barbecue up at the club with I think 4 or 5 other boats, and it turned out that one of the boats had tested positive for COVID. So luckily for my parents, we don't know if it was COVID, it was all the symptoms of COVID, and there were 2 other boats that experienced the same symptoms. So I think it was just through socializing. Everyone got a little bit sick, but everyone's on the mend now. And yeah, we're just waiting for our next weather window. Some people are feeling sick. we busy inside. Colbin's busy shackling, fixing shackles and WD-40ing everything. But it's never that simple, is it, Colbin? What's going wrong? What isn't going wrong at this stage?
An 8mm shackle through an 8mm hole, but it's like tight, even though it's clean. So, after the pliers, we go for the blowtorch if it doesn't want to come out. Oh, trying not to lose this thing.
Did you get it out?
Yeah. Why is the hole so dirty?
Because you're not maintaining things like usual.
No. Poor maintenance leads for lots of frustration.
So today we are making eggplant or aubergine meatballs. We had stocked up a lot because we thought we were obviously leaving, so we had provisioned a lot of fresh food, and we're still here. So we are making our first time meatless meatballs, and someone's busy sewing away. We thought since we stuck here, might as well carry on with boat jobs. What are you fixing?
The enclosure
Straps
at the bottom that hold the enclosure onto the hull of the boat. We're not very successful, so we're upgrading those before we get going again.
So it's so nice to be able to be on the boat, and we have solar power, so we are using the induction cooker. Usually we up at the club and on the Wi-Fi watching Netflix and researching stuff, so it's nice to be on the boat and it's sunny and being able to cook during the day and not use gas, so we are happy chappies. Bonus. Eggplant is cooked. I just cut the eggplant up into cubes and put it into the pot with a bit of water and the lid on so it kind of steams it, and then I'm going to put it in the food processor and make it mushy. The recipe I was using also called for mushrooms, but here in Brazil mushrooms aren't readily available. The ones that are at the supermarket really don't look fresh, and they're also very expensive. I cut up 2 onions and added it to the aubergines that were cooking in the pot, steamed them a little and then liquidized them. I prefer to liquidize my onions when using it in meatballs because I find the mixture binds better together. It's our aubergine and onion. I don't know if it's too wet, so we'll have to see how it binds together. And we're going to add some homemade garlic, also just garlic from the market. We used to buy quick and easy ready chopped garlic from the shops, but here you don't get that, so we just chuck it all into blender. We've actually got our next bag ready for that because we're getting low and we eat a lot of garlic. Got fresh coriander pesto. This was also part of our provisioning for leaving. We had bought a whole bunch of coriander because we love coriander in dishes. If you don't like coriander, we don't like you, because there are mixed emotions in the world about this vegetable, this herb. But it's really nice. We just chopped it up in the blender and and added olive oil to it, so it preserves itself and it lasts really long. So that was our little thing to keep it fresh for our next passage.
Put garlic in there as well, can you?
Oh, I also added a few cloves of garlic. Like I said, we are fighting off the vampires. Then we've got Mediterranean mix dried herbs that we're going to put 2 teaspoons in. We're going to add breadcrumbs and farofa to the mix to try and dry it out a bit because it's a bit wet and stodgy. So we'll just add that until it comes to an averagely good consistency. If farofa isn't readily available, then you can use just plain breadcrumbs and mix it to a consistency that you are able to roll the mixture into balls and it holds its own. Like I had mentioned, it's Brazil's rainy season, so squalls come out of nowhere.
I was close.
It's chili bush. It's absolute baby.
I then rolled the mixture into balls, dunked it in egg, and then put it into a flour mixture made up of tapioca starch, breadcrumbs, salt, pepper, and a little bit of all-purpose flour. This is our vegetarian meatballs with mashed potato, a nice big salad, and a white pepper creamy sauce. You can't peg one, Colbin. They're trying to find coconuts. Colbin thinks he's going to be able to spear one out of that tree. Go.
I don't think I'm buff enough for this.
You know what? You get the ones that will.
Come on.
He's gonna javelin it out.
Yeah.
No, I need that stick.
Direct hit, but they're solid.
So Colbin javelined these ones and they're leaking. We couldn't get them down. They're leaking milk and it tastes so good.
You don't get fresher than that.
Right. Literally
the tree.
still on the tree. Oh, are you proud of yourself?
No, you should just get them.
It's amazing.
We gave up on the boys trying to spear us a coconut.
Coconut out of the tree.
So we went to the coconut drive-through, which is just a little
So
coconut
nice.
shop.
It's cold, chilled.
It's ice cold. So refreshing. That's where the coconuts you drink come to die. And obviously quite a few people drink coconuts because there's quite a stockpile there. So this is what the colour's meant to look like. That's what ours is looking like. And it's just getting whiter and whiter. And there's lots of white lines between the coloured lines and the LEDs. So we're just assuming that it is going to eventually fade to a white screen. But luckily we can mirror onto the tablet or use Navionics.
Okay, so we've officially lost our chart plotter. Well, the thing actually still functions though. So what's cool about these is they come with 2 different options. You've got a touch screen and then you can use all the buttons on the side. And you should actually be able to operate the entire plotter using the buttons on the side. And then because it's a Ray Marine, we've got an app on the tablet called Rayview. So what we're doing is, what we're going to have to do for now until we can get the screen fixed, is to mirror the plotter to this tablet and use it like that. We should, it's a little bit slow, but we'll do what we can. Yeah, the radar's overlaid, which is good. It seems to be functioning, touch wood, pretty well with this thing.
We just wear out the wood on this boat with all the touching wood.
All the functions are actually working, so that's a positive thing.
After taking the boat down the river for 15 minutes, our chart plotter slowly disappeared. We will only be able to start working on our chart plotter or finding out what the problem is when we are in Trinidad. There are no Raymarine suppliers or technicians in Brazil, so we will be heading out on our tablet and navionics charts, because while we were in the river testing motors and props this week, the Raymarine literally died on us. So that'll be our form of navigation from now on, but we will keep you updated with what our plans are and where we're heading next, and we might see you in a new destination in our next video. Even with all the things that are going wrong on Saoirse, we are lucky enough to be in Carbondale with beautiful views and beautiful sunsets, and we're not taking that for granted at all. Thank you so much for watching our video with us. If you enjoyed our video, please give it a like, and if you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below.